Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Sonic Squeeze. Today we're going to be talking about Tesla.
That reverse symbol in there as well.
I like, he was better than me. I was fucking... My man!
My man!
Tesla! Tesla. This is a new album from Flux Pavilion. A dance music producer, DJ, and multi-instrumentalist. His name is Joshua Steele. And yeah, today we're partaking in some light discussion. Subject matter being Tesla, the album. Give me a moment.
Whoa now. So to fill in while someone is taking a drink.
Pretty cool, huh? Tesla. Flux is an English lad. Pretty fucking huge. Has some big tunes under his belt. Like, I'm sure we've all been drunk as fuck in a club dancing to I Can't Stop, Bass Cannon, Scientist.
Either of the I Can't Stops, because he did multiple versions.
Oh yeah, I Still Can't Stop.
Yeah. He milked that song for what it was worth.
Yeah.
He just couldn't stop milking it, to be honest.
Shut up, please stop.
I really like the Do or Die with Childish Gambino.
That was excellent.
Well. That's pretty badass. Yeah. His production is always amazing. It always really blows me away.
And interesting.
It is.
He always has some new ideas and some different things that he's doing.
Straight in with the song Vibrate.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are we skipping out Tesla theme?
When we talk about Vibrate, you have to think of... I feel like Tesla theme is meant to go into it. And actually, if you look at the music video, it's all as one thing. So I think...
I like the Tesla theme.
It's cool. It's a great way to open the track.
Theme? I wasn't getting any theme from it.
Theme shmeem.
It's like the Tesla theme.
It's a great way to open
oh, it's a real toe tap of that one.
To have a Tesla coil playing some chords.
It was
leading up to Vibrate.
Shit up for the album.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was just, let's begin now.
Okay, I feel like I've been
into Vibrate,
outruled.
which was heavy, quite minimal, quite simple, but awesome dubstep. Just really simple, quite clean. Just a big sort of banger to start off.
Yeah.
That, you know, on its own wasn't super interesting as a song, but it worked great live, and it was just a good thing to start off with and just go, this album's going to be big and heavy.
What do you think of the production on that?
I wasn't a massive fan of the LFO which was chosen, but I felt that there was a lot of variety within the song. And then, like, in the verses and just before the verses, just after the verse, before the chorus, all of these elements had different things going on. That was really interesting. It really kept my attention.
For me, it was like everything I was kind of hoping for just like happened. It was like big and obnoxious in a good way. It really reminded me of Woo Boost by Roscoe.
Woo!
And
Boost.
yeah, I was actually just like wubbing with my mouth that entire song like a few minutes ago. I don't know if Gareth even noticed, but
This is a really good song.
it is so good.
I like the there was like a lead synth going on after the chorus in that in Vibrate as well that I really liked. It was really good. I enjoyed it, and I thought the outro was okay. It wasn't amazing. It was pretty good. Like it was decent.
There was at least
decent
something
start
there
to the
that
album.
was like
exactly,
cool.
exactly.
It was a just well put together song. It didn't do anything incredibly new, but it did everything it did well.
Yeah. Apparently, Flux Pavilion got into like this style of production after seeing Roscoe DJ at Fabric one night.
Yeah.
And he said it was like unlike anything he'd ever seen. Apparently, he was like Roscoe's just going crazy. He had like a cardboard box in his head.
Does.
And
Roscoe used to be quite nuts in the old days, in the original days of dubstep.
he was like one of the first people like we got into with dubstep.
He was one of the sort of second wave of originators after like Scream and Banger. He was one of the first people to get on that.
Okay, I want to go to We Are the Creators.
Yeah, this had a huge Chemical Brothers.
Fatboy
Slim.
I didn't think about it before, but yeah.
And when I first heard it, I didn't get super into it originally because I sort of wasn't concentrating that much, and I don't think the bass work in that is that interesting. But as I've heard it a few more times, like the track as a whole is really good. The intro is really funky, nice choppy synth stuff, which is really nice.
It's so funky. I feel like
funky.
Yeah, I feel like I want to walk somewhere to it.
Yeah.
Or like be in a club somewhere. I love that kind of what feels like the snippet thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
It's like cut
really good.
off. I don't know if it's a guitar or a synth or both. It
But
could be
they've just
both
cut the
with
end
him.
off. Yeah, with him, it's probably both.
Yeah, with like this big kick. It sounds like an 808 mixed with something else.
It was crazy though, because it kind of started like a funky kind of, not rock, but kind of like a funk track going on. But then it kind of went into like an electro hop funk thing,
which is very much
was really cool.
old school, like Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim
Yeah.
sort of stuff. When it was a lot of sampling, older sort of funk dance stuff.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
and
it was
then
good.
the drop into like it built up for a drop, and then it dropped into those little stabs, and I was like, this is well good. And then after like I think a bar or two, the kick comes in, and then it just like
Which
really
is the thing
works.
that a lot of people are doing. I think we talked about it last week to something. I think it might have been the Tame Impala.
It was the Foles one.
Oh, the Foles one, yeah.
Mountain of the Gate.
yes,
where stuff
yes.
where they sort of leave off with sort of not as much as you expect to then give you what you'd expect just afterwards. Yeah.
I really like that. It's probably going to get boring in like 2 years, but for now I'm enjoying it, and that's all that matters.
First person I heard do it was actually Skrillex and Diplo in one of their early Jack U stuff before it was ever a like full thing.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away. I was like, this is so cool. Now it's got to the point where it's something that just is done all the time, and I'm like, I like that it's done all the time.
I think the Chili Peppers, the lyrics from the song Psycho Sexy describe it really well. Take it out for a minute just a teaser, then I give it back a little bit deeper.
Whoa.
And that is, we're just talking about music there. There's no other kind of
anything
connotation.
else? Anything else is your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking that. We didn't say that.
Yeah.
It's
That's disgusting.
We're talking about kicks
Stop
here.
it.
I mean, come on, man. What I really liked also was that when that first drop happened, and then it kind of went down again, and then started building up into the second drop. The second drop was different. It had like a synth going over the top of it as well, which really added like another electronic layer to what was already kind of quite a pumpy funk track. Like
you see, like where
really enjoyed it.
where like Nero would rely on getting like a good kind of melody or a hook. I feel like Flux Pavilion like purely appreciates just sound, like the sonic impressiveness. Like he knows what like just one sound like bah, like what it can do. Like, I think it's the same exact note.
Yeah.
Just hitting you.
A lot of the time stuff
over
like that
again.
is, and I feel from trying to make that sort of stuff, like a lot of the time you try and do too much of changing the notes, and it just ruins the sort of the hit of that sound. Keeping that sound like the perfect
Sonically
thing of that
powerful.
sound,
Sonically squeeze. Did you like that? Did you like that little...
It was okay. I'd probably give it what I'm about to rate the next song.
Oh. Did you not like it?
Never See the Light.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't a massive fan of Never See the Light. I thought it was very slow to get going. Once it got going, it was pretty good. It wasn't amazing. Nothing really stood out.
I had to go and like check who the singer was, because for a second I thought it was Plan B singing it. It sounded just like Plan B's vocals from like his second album, sort of more soulful sound he does. He's like quite a high pitch, and it's actually a female's vocals. I can't remember her name. Oh yeah, Andrea Martins, and I think it sounds good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's one of the less sort of interesting like newer tracks on the album with like Vibrate and stuff. But like Vibrate, it's just what it is. Well done.
Yeah,
and I like it.
Yeah. You got anything else to say about it?
There was I'm not 100% sure, but there was a follow-up bit to the verse, and I really enjoyed it. It was just like, it was really intricate and interesting, and I like that.
I feel like I'm going to go back to this album and give it some more of a listen. I'm probably going to take out a song or two and put it on my playlist, but I'm not sure.
International Anthem was very much for me what I would call circus dubstep, and it's not Circus because of anything to do with Circus, but because their record label, him and Dr. P, the record label they're on is Circus Records, and it's very much their old style, the sort of thing that started getting that big, like the big heavy synths with the sort of a bit of the screechiness.
I didn't enjoy it.
And
really?
I didn't think it was one of the greatest.
I thought it was a big wobbly
But I
track,
liked it.
and I'd say it lacked any kind of substance for me to enjoy it.
I quite
Really
like
big one.
how they kind of went sort of down like an Afro-Caribbean route.
Yeah.
With the vocalists
It's
especially,
very- well,
but
that's-
also they got Flux Pavilion used a synth which sounded quite a lot like a steel drum. And I like that. That's a good idea.
That is I mean, it's a thing for people like me who've been into this music for a long, but that's actually where the dub and dubstep comes from. Originally, it's from like Afro-Caribbean, like specifically Jamaican music.
Yeah,
it's a lot of what this sort of and that's one of the reasons that again made me think of it as like older stuff. It has that original sort of Jamaican influence that a lot of early Rushko, Benga, Scream stuff had.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
And then later on,
drum and bass.
as there was a synth first, kind of a steel drum sound, there was kind of like a horn sound as well, which I quite liked.
He uses a lot of horny sounds.
No comment on that.
That's something that I just
whatsoever.
said. He uses a lot of horn-like sounds.
I enjoyed the fact that when it dropped, it went into something a lot slower than what had been given in the previous 4 tracks.
Yeah.
It gave a lot of variety to not that song in particular, but to the album so far. I really like that.
And this is where I think the album gets real good.
Yeah.
For now, a lot of songs that I like, don't love, like, don't love, like, don't love. Shoot Me is probably my favourite song on this album.
Really?
I really liked it. It has firstly, when I first heard the sort of beginning bit where it first starts kicking in with kick and bass, I thought, oh no, it's their cock rock song. It's his, I'm going to do deep house. I'm going to put that poppy deep house in there. But then he didn't do it as generically as like Nero did it on their last album, or as like, you know, all the big pop things do it, like, you know, House Every Weekend or whatever. He used it more interesting. He had it a lot faster, sort of almost in a bigger house way, where it's a lot of sort of lots of fast notes hit really close together. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And I thought, if this is the whole song though, I'm going to think it's fucking awful. And then it built up into the drop, which sort of dropped on an upbeat as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's big, epic sort of trappiness, and I was just like,
now for me, cool. Shoot Me, that's where the horniness really becomes awesome for me. Are they sampled?
No,
are the horns sampled?
This is something I can tell you.
Ooh,
the vocalist on the track, Big Voyage, which is actually the song that I sent you guys on our thing to listen to.
Okay.
He has been doing a lot of stuff apparently around a lot of things, and it's live saxophone recorded.
Awesome.
And he played it.
It sounds so good. I thought it must be sampled off a record.
It's live saxophone recorded stuff by the same guy who's singing it. Who also he only has like one properly released song, but it's really cool. He makes some cool music. Big Voyage. Check him out.
Well, I thought all the vocalists on the album were great vocalists. It sounded great, but I got the feeling some of them were just like there for a session. There was no real good lyrical
almost
content.
Everything on there, by the sounds of it, a lot of this stuff, some of it he's talking about back and forth stuff, but a lot of it he said was sort of like, you know, he flies to America to meet this vocalist he wants to work with, and he spends a whole day working with them, making sort of the base of the song, and then he works on the rest and builds it out into more of a sort of fully done idea. So it sounds like a lot of it is that. I think even with the Shoot Me stuff, I think he said, you know, he really wanted to work with this guy, and so he like emailed him and it wasn't really getting anywhere, so he went to America and spent a day just doing stuff with him and got the horns and the vocals and then brought them home. And
what I liked about the chorus of Shoot Me was what I can only describe as a synthgasm.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty accurate for it.
It was really interesting.
It was just, like he said earlier, just nice, sonically interesting sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Just all over it.
But the problem that I had with it was that chorus was quite thin. It didn't have a lot of bass through it. But unfortunately, needed the verse. And for me, that made the whole track a bit too thin.
There's quite a bit of stuff in there, but I can see what you mean.
I know what you mean about the thinness. I said here that I found it a little underwhelming. It kind of like kept like bringing me up and then kind of disappointing me. But I found a solution. Turn the volume knob up by 100% of what you're already listening to. And it gets 50% better, that song. And actually that works for the rest of the album as well.
It's just a loud listener.
You need to listen to this kind of music loud. Otherwise,
I can see that.
You know, what do you
do?
do?
I think maybe that's why I didn't see the thinness as much, because I'm used to listening to it loud, because I listen to it a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to...
I really like that.
What you gonna do?
Probably my second favourite song on this album.
You know what? I liked it.
It was so good, because it's one of those things, like the stuff we were talking about earlier, where it's very typically dancey, quite simple. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, it was my second favourite as well.
But it's done in an interesting way. It's quite funky.
Yeah.
It's a big dubstep drop.
It kind of had a weird, like, kind of 8-bit game sound
to it. A lot
of
Flux stuff does, yeah.
But
he's known for a lot of that sort of stuff.
In the intro, I was like, this is kind of weird. But then later on, he reintroduces it.
It's the one that starts with the thing that they're like, boom, with the
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
up. Yeah, I
love
love that
that
intro. It's so cool.
But I found that the first time I went through it, I was just like, yeah, it's alright. And then there was like a really fat drop, and the what I'm gonna call a wub for those that don't know, but an LFO, it kind of like it fell. It was like yeah, and it was really awesome. And then in the second drop, it introduced that game sound again with this synth, and it was kind of, it didn't introduce the drums at first, and it just left you with those,
Left you with that.
and then it brought it in again, as we were
Similar
saying.
sort of thing, yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. Like,
What
I
about-
really like that.
I don't
It's
know if I
great.
felt the vocal too much. I thought it was kind of I think it was kind of annoying, to be honest. But I got a really big Feed Me vibe off this song.
Feed Me.
Yeah,
I
I
could
got a
kind of see
huge
that.
Feed Me
Old
vibe.
school Feed Me. I could kind of see that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, not
Yeah,
like
not modern stuff, but yeah.
not like Phoebe
Feed Me's nice.
from Friends.
Not like Phoebe from Friends.
He's the one who I was watching those videos of when you were in my room.
Which videos, Gareth?
The ones where he was at the showing Sip stuff, producing
Not
stuff.
those videos.
Not those videos.
Not those videos. They're private.
Pogo People.
Pogo People. This
Oh my God.
This is probably my fourth favourite song. on the
Really?
album.
I didn't
I
like it.
love this song.
God, my like critical thinking went out the window for this one. I'm reading what I wrote here. and it's Pogo People. There's 3 exclamation marks. Oh my god, what a fucking tune! That fucking kick and snare at the beginning, so snappy.
So snappy.
So snappy.
With an exclamation
In
point.
brackets with exclamation points.
I used exclamation points a lot.
This song was really fun. It wasn't huge like a lot of the other stuff. It
Yeah.
was just really fun, really interesting, really nice.
I saw
really
it as a
fast and
fun song,
going.
but it wasn't that good for me. Like
I really love
it was
the vocal.
upbeat,
It's really funny that you say "good" for me.
good.
Yeah.
Why?
Did you get the reference of this track?
You kept on like saying there
You
was
did
a
say
reference,
there was a reference
and
in this
I wasn't
album
getting
somewhere.
it.
Is this it?
This track, Pogo People, is a Prodigy reference.
Right.
The whole thing is a huge Prodigy reference.
Got it.
It's quite similarly based off of a lot of the way it works to Voodoo People, and Pogo People. Kind of fits in with that. The intro, where before the music starts,
The phone
where
intro.
he has the phone thing.
Yeah.
That's a recreation of the intro from Poison by the Prodigy. It's the exact
Oh, I
thing.
see.
And I looked
Okay.
it up because I was like, it must be, but I want to see if he said anything about it. And he said that he sent the track to Liam Howlett, I don't know how you say his surname, of the Prodigy, the main guy of the Prodigy, to make sure it was okay, because he was like, it's a very obvious reference. So he was like, it's going to be, he might be like, oh, it's a bit close. And he said that Liam replied, was like, yeah, it's fine, I love it. And he was like, he said that Flux was one of the most exciting people he'd heard in ages. And that phone call where he sent him it to make sure it was okay to do the reference was actually the reason, like, in that conversation, Liam asked Flux to be on the new album, which is how the song Rhythm Bomb came onto The Day Is My Enemy or whatever.
Okay.
Can't remember. I've forgotten the name of the album now. But it's a great album, great song, one of the better songs on the album as well.
I'm gonna have to be honest
That was
here.
interesting stuff.
That was the cut-off point for me.
Yeah.
What for the album?
Oh,
Yeah,
after that, do you
I
think it went
felt as
downhill?
though the next 5 songs were really, really bad.
Interesting.
I was enjoying this album. I wasn't giving it like an 8, but I was enjoying it. It was good. Probably a 6 or a 7.
I think that was
In
the best
fact,
section for me.
I'd say up until that point, I'd give that a 7. Right?
Yeah.
The next 5 songs I thought were awful.
Oh,
I thought they were really, really bad.
I like some of the endings.
I liked Emotional.
I thought Emotion was awesome.
I
really
listened to
liked
that and I thought, okay, Flux says like, he is definitely one of the best producers around at the moment.
Yeah.
I got
So good.
kind of
So
like a
nice.
Jack View vibe off
Yeah, I could feel
off
that.
this
Yeah,
song with
totally,
the vocals
Totally.
and everything.
I think it had a great vocal performance on it. I love the vocal performance on Emotion.
For me, it
was
just
a
felt really
nice
generic.
put together song.
I didn't. Nothing really stood out as being something interesting and new, or there wasn't variety throughout the song for me at all. It was just they got an idea of what they would do for a song. They got a female vocalist on. They went for like
Yeah, I
a
think it
club
was great.
vibe, but they did it with like an orchestral kind of sound, which was quite cool. But again, like nothing really happened in that song. For
I think
me
it was
at all.
great.
I thought it was great.
I think it definitely had like less variety and a bit less than some of the better tracks on this album. But I think what it had there was so good, so nice to listen to that I'm like, this is one of the ones that will definitely be on playlists for me because it's not super dancey as well. It's sort of more sort of melodic trap sort of style, you know. And I felt like quite a few tracks on this, specifically like Shoot Me and some of the songs later, sounded quite epic, you know.
Yeah.
Like Feel Good, the next song, that sounded quite epic to me as well. And I didn't like it that much. I didn't think it was an amazing song.
Feel Good for me was a bit average compared to the rest of the album.
I felt exactly the same about Feel Good as I did
Feel
for
Good.
Emotional.
I can agree with you more than with Emotional. But Feel Good, I felt it felt epic, and it had I liked the vocal performance quite a lot, but there wasn't much to it. After sort of how it felt and the vocal performance, I was like, after that, it's just sort of and the house song. The next song is actually, for me, was the most sort of controversial of them.
Who Wants to
Because
Rock?
I have never been a fan of Riff Raff. I don't find him funny or interesting, or I don't like any of his verses. I don't understand the hype around him. And I don't necessarily like him in this track.
Okay.
But I think it was a pretty hype track. I think...
It was pretty hype. I don't know if I felt, man, it's good.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think Flux
anything
is
special.
very good at taking performances from like average to good rappers, even average performances from good rappers, or, you know, mere performance, average things, and putting them into songs that are just still good. Like some from his first album, the one with Gambino. I'm not normally a massive fan of Gambino. I think a lot of Gambino's album work isn't that good, and I don't think that verse was anything particularly special. But the song was great. With the other one he did with rappers on that, where he had
It's controversial
Kano,
to say.
Kano, and someone a bit smaller.
Everybody loves Gambino.
I know, and I think most of I think he's a decent rapper, but I think most of his album content is awful.
I agree with that.
This is stuff for another episode.
I'm going to reserve my judgment for now.
But yeah, and then the one with Kano was decent, but the other rapper on there was pretty weak. Gave a pretty substandard performance.
Yeah.
But all of these tracks are still great. Buy it, and I think this out of those three was the worst by far. But I still think it was a decent track for the sort of kind of weak performance from.
I thought
Riff.
exactly the same as the previous two. I thought, in the same way as Emotional and Feels Good were kind of just quite average tracks, I thought it was the same, but with male vocals. And it was a bit more dubstep, but not kind of enjoyable. And I felt as though just that style in a club, I would probably enjoy it a bit more. But
In a club, I think that would be awesome. But this isn't
But
something
compared
I'd
to
have
the
on a
other
playlist.
two, like, it doesn't add that much more. It's just that style I would enjoy more personally.
I can feel you with that.
Okay.
And then I got something,
Yeah.
which I thought was
He didn't
the
have
worst.
anything.
I thought it was the worst song on the album.
Did you not like it either?
He kept telling me
Worst song
I got something, and I was like, then when is it going to arrive?
I like the song. I thought,
That for me, that song was way copy and pasted.
yeah, I can feel that. I don't
To the
think I think it was very very nice. I think it was.
I wrote that it would be the music that they'd play in a club between two DJs coming on and actually playing something. That would be what they would play.
That's
It's so neutral,
I
and
remember that.
nothing happens for me.
It definitely for me
It's so neutral.
sort of feels like sort of generic circus dubstep, but I like that sound. I liked it. I thought it was sort of over average for the sort of normal stuff that comes out there, and I don't think, like, you know, objectively I think it's probably, you know, it's an alright track. So. But like I just really got into that track. I thought it was just something about it. I really liked it.
How do you feel Ironheart wraps up the record then?
I thought that it had I didn't think the song was that great.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that particularly grabbed my attention, but I felt that it was going in the right direction. I felt it had the right attitude to conclude the album.
I think it was underdeveloped.
Really?
That is exactly how I
think
would
it was a
describe
really good idea for what should close the album.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was done enough.
That you have just summarised what I was thinking better than I could.
And I really-
Underdeveloped is exactly how.
And
I
I
would
really
describe that track.
liked it, especially the second bit.
You don't agree, do you?
The build up to the second drop and the second drop, I really liked.
Maybe
where
I do.
It has all the sort of orchestral stuff in. I liked it, but I didn't think it was enough, and I think it didn't build up enough. It didn't progress enough. I think it was just. It would have been cool if he'd had more time.
And just
to put the work
before Kit comes in with his response, I'd also like to just say that the outro to that song wasn't anything special, and I always like good.
Yeah,
outros
I thought it
on the last
ended
song.
really like weirdly.
Yeah.
I think
it worked well.
if this song had had more work, it would have been a great ending.
Hmm.
But I don't think it had enough in it.
Okay,
I
Kit,
think
go.
I think the song had a kind of pop factor to it.
I can feel
I-
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote down here like pretty sweet vocals, like pretty jam to it. I imagine this song being the one with the music video for some reason, and
Yeah, I can feel
and it's sort of being played on daytime music TV channels.
But I would have preferred We Are Creators to have that slot.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad call. Not a bad call at all. Marks out of 10, please, gentlemen. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said, I was really wanting to give this album a 7.
Yep.
But those last 5 songs really disappointed me.
Let you down.
To the extent where I'm actually going to have to drop it by 2. I'm giving this album a 5.
Ooh,
5.
5, that's low.
I
That is
really,
low.
really wanted to give this a 7.
Yeah.
But those last 5, they were not
Okay.
for me at all.
Okay,
Not for me at all.
fair enough.
I'm dropping.
This is the most confident I've been about my things all night.
Yeah.
This for me is a strong 8.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. Overall impressed with the album. I thought it was like really consistent with the songs he was bringing out.
But there was a lot of variety within that.
Yeah.
It was consistent.
I'll give you
variety.
that. There was a lot of variety. I really enjoyed the album up until the last 5 songs. And there were, how many songs in this? 13?
Yeah.
So that's a good,
pretty good.
that's about a third of the album that
I would give this album a 7. I think if some of the lyrical content was there, it might have got an 8. But I
What?
feel like...
Well, you
We
just
add
said
in
you
one
were
more
gonna give
interesting
it
point
an
at the
8.
end.
Sorry?
Did you not just say that you were going to give it?
Why did I give it a 7?
No, I said that.
Yeah, but never mind.
I think
I
he
would
said
give it-
he said an 8. Yeah, that's fair, and he didn't mean it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but just one more interesting point that I didn't find a place to put in, but I really want to say that front cover,
Uh-huh.
the Tesla coil on the front cover with Flux Pavillion's logo. That's not a Photoshop job.
It's a picture.
There's a legit picture of a Tesla coil they've made with his logo on it.
Yeah.
And he said that he can't take it to venues because way too much health and safety, and most venues couldn't even take it. But he is planning to do, like, it's made to take MIDI input, so he can play notes on it.
That's cool.
And he's planning to do a one-off special gig where he uses the Tesla coil.
I'd
live.
like to see the video for it.
That
I
would
wouldn't
be
buy a ticket.
Awesome. I'd love to see him live because, like Nero, he's another one who gives great live
Yeah.
performances.
I have seen him live.
Yeah.
And
So
it was good. I did enjoy it.
I remember you saying that. I've seen
But
him live
I'm
as well,
not
and he was
willing
great.
to spend money to watch it again.
Alright, actually, before we wrap this up, best songs in the album.
Ah, yes. For me, I really enjoyed the Tesla theme, but I'm not going to count that. We Are Creators, I really
Yep.
liked.
That's a fair one.
And What Are You Going to Do About It? I thought they were the best.
For me, it was Shoot Me and What You Gonna Do About It were my 2 favourites.
I think it was pretty Vibrate and Pogo People. Emotional in there as well. I like that.
Not emotional.
Anyway, I've been Kit Campbell. He's been Gareth. And he's James. Sonic Squeeze signing off. Good night.
So we don't get surnames. Alright, predictions.
Predictions.
I didn't think you'd like this.
You didn't think... Oh,
I thought you'd give it a 5.
I did give it 5, so you
No, you
did. You're good.
I thought you'd like it.
I did
Not-
like it.
But not quite as much as me. I
So
thought
you
you'd
gave me
give it
a 7? Yeah, nice one.
Nice.
I'm so fucking good at it. I wasn't as confident this week as last week, and I got this week more accurate than last week.